Hare Krishna. Today we are reading from Bhagavad-Gita as it is. It's chapter 14, text, I believe, it's 19. I know the verse, but I don't remember the number. So, Om Jnanaatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Staptitam Yena Bhutale Svayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Svapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuttapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakan Vitamscha E Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So text 19, we'll chant the Sanskrit. Nanyam gunebhya kartaham Yada dashtranupasyati Gunebhyascha param veti Madbhavam so digacchati. Word for word. Na, no. Anyam, other. Gunebhyo, then the qualities. Kartaram, performed. Yada, when. Drashta, a seer. Anupashyati, sees properly. Gunebhyaha, to the modes of nature. Cha, and. Param, transcendental. Veti, knows. Madbhavam, to my spiritual nature. Saha, he. Adigacchati, is promoted. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki. When one properly sees that in all activities no other performer is at work, then these modes of nature, when one properly sees that in all activities no other performer is at work than these modes of nature, and he knows the Supreme Lord who is transcendental to all these modes, he attains my spiritual nature. Please repeat. When one properly sees that in all activities no other performer is at work, then these modes of nature, he knows the Supreme Lord who is transcendental to all these modes, he attains my spiritual nature. Purport. One can transcend all activities of the modes of material nature simply by understanding them properly, by learning from the proper souls. The real spiritual master is Krishna, and he is imparting this spiritual knowledge to Arjuna. Similarly, it is from those who are fully in Krishna consciousness that one has to learn this science of activities, in terms of the modes of nature. Otherwise, one's life will be misdirected. By the instruction of a bona fide spiritual master, a living entity can know of his spiritual position, his material body, his senses, how he is entrapped, and how he is under the spell of the material modes of nature. He is helpless, being in the grip of these modes, but when he can see his real position, then he can attain to the transcendental platform, having the scope for spiritual life. Actually, this living entity is not the performer of different activities. He is forced to act because he is situated in the particular type of body, conducted by some particular mode of material nature. Unless one has the help of spiritual authority, he cannot understand in what position he is actually situated. With the association of a bona fide spiritual master, he can see his real position, and by such an understanding, he can become fixed in full Krishna consciousness. A man in Krishna consciousness is not controlled by the spell of the material modes of nature. It has already been stated in the 7th chapter that one who has surrendered to Krishna is relieved from the activities of material nature. For one who is able to see things as they are, the influence of material nature gradually ceases. Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti-Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deva Gauravani Pracharne Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyatya Dashdarne. Hare Krishna again. Thank you for assembling here. So, today we are reading from Bhagavad-Gita as it is. So, as it is means what? It means the real thing. That's what it is. It means real thing. So, and this purport talks about the real thing. It talks about the reality. It talks about the reality of Jiva, the reality of this body, reality of this material world, and Krishna. So that's why, and it also says that reality, this real position, can be actually realized by the help of one's spiritual guide, spiritual master. So Srila Prabhupada has called this Bhagavad-Gita as it is. So this indicates that this Bhagavad-Gita is actually guide to understand our real position. And that's why it is also said that in the same purport that with association of bona fide spiritual master and by hearing, by discussing about these instructions and topics, one can actually realize. So here we are assembled today to discuss these things. And what do we discuss here? It's a reality. So reality is truth, and truth is reality. Reality cannot be false, and truth cannot be something that doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. It is actually, these are two terms, truth and reality, is connected. It is the same. So that's why also in Bhagavad-Gita, in chapter 2, text 16, it is said, Nasato vidyate bhavo, na bhavo vidyate sataha, ubhayor apidrishtontas tatvananyos tattvadarshibhi. So that means that those who are seers of the truth, the persons who know the truth, they have realized, they have concluded that of the non-existent there is no endurance. So means something what doesn't exist, there is no endurance. It does not endure. It does not exist. So basically, someone that doesn't have existence doesn't exist. So that, and for the eternal, there is no change. So no endurance means that the constant change is there. So and this is concluded by studying nature of both. So the seers of truth, which means realized souls, have studied the natures of both. They study the natures of things that change and the things that doesn't change. And they have concluded that that's what changes. It's actually non-existent. And what is existent is that doesn't change, that it's eternal. So non-existent means not real, because how can something that is real be non-existent? So only the real things are existent, and something which is non-existent is not real. So in that same verse, it is described that the non-existent thing is a material body, and soul is the eternal, is one without change. So we can very much observe these changes of the body, changes of the mind especially, changes of intelligence, changes of false ego. So body, we grow, there is no doubt, everybody grows. Unless one dies, then they stop growing. So then mind, constant change. Intelligence also, the child has a different intelligence, adult different. And then false ego, it's not just a false ego when someone tells something rude to you and you get offended. The false ego means identification. It means I and mine. So that's what false ego means. And that also changes depending on the situation we are. At one point our false ego says, I'm a little girl and I want to play and you have to give me many toys. And another time false ego says, I'm an adult and I need a house. And another time for somebody else false ego say, well, something else, I'm a dog and I need to bark because some other dog has come. So these are all false egos, the identification. So this is all changing. So it means it's non-existent. It's not reality. So if we have gathered here to discuss about reality, means we are not discussing about these things, body, mind, intelligence, false ego, but we are discussing about something that is existing, that is eternal, and it is soul. The whole spiritual literature is talking about this topic. And to understand it, there are three categories: Sambandha, Abhideya, and Prayojana. Prayojana means what to attain, what is to be attained. Abhideya means how it is to be attained, and Sambandha, why. So the thing is Sambandha, we need to understand why. That if we understood that this body is not eternal, it is changing, it is not even reality. Meaning that it's Maya, it's not us. So then the soul is a reality. So that's first aspect of the Sambandha, that I am the soul. So then what is the relationship of the soul with Supreme Lord, and the relationship with the soul with material nature? The relationship with soul and the material nature has no relationship. The soul does not belong to this material nature. It is only illusion that makes person think they belong to material nature. But who is that person who thinks they belong to material nature? Not the soul, but a conditioned soul who identifies with the body. Soul doesn't think I'm from this material nature. Only soul who thinks I'm the body. So the bewildered soul who is influenced by this changing nature of material world of the mind and intelligence. So the one who knows reality doesn't think I belong to this material world. They think I have no relationship with this material world. So who do I have relationship with then? It is Krishna. So this is Sambandha. I am soul. I am not this body. I have nothing to do with this body. I acquired it due to my ignorance. And now I am acting on account of it as if I am this body. But I am not. And I don't belong here and I have no relationship here. I have relationship with Krishna. So this is the first step. So then we should understand, so this relationship of Krishna, this is my reality, but I don't have it. Or I don't know about it. If it's reality means I have it, but I don't know about it. In fact, Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that nature, the dharma of a living entity is Krishna prema. And Prabhupada, I open here, I wanted to read, what does he say about Krishna Prema? He says that everybody has it. Because Prema means what? Prema means love. And Prabhupada says, everyone has Prema, love. This propensity to love others, that is everywhere. But that Prema, that love, is originally for Krishna. Nitya Siddha Krishna Bhakti. That is the original Prema. But because we are illusioned that Prema is being applied or used for so many Maya. Prema I have got my love. That is a fact. But I do not know where to repose that love. That is my misfortune. Therefore, Krishna says that Sarva Dharman Parityaja Mamekam Sharanam Vraja. So, Prema is a reality. So this is our prayojana. Because now, like Prabhupada says, we'll have love, but it's distributed to so many different other objects. Not to real object, not to original owner of our love, our Prema. So, the Sambandha is, we just described, I'm not this body, I don't belong here, I belong somewhere else. And prayojana is to be there and to distribute that love there. So which is missing? The process to come from this point to that point, and that is Abhideya. Somebody was saying that some devotees, especially here in Vrindavan, they only like to talk about prayojana, and they forgot about Sambandha. So how to then attain prayojana if you don't know Sambandha? And it is true, but there are also some devotees who only talk about Sambandha and never talk about prayojana. So we should talk about all three, and we should constantly be absorbed in these three aspects, Sambandha, Abhideya and Prayojana, because none of them can live without each other. The process, which is Abhideya, cannot live without goal. Where do we go? What do we do? Then it becomes Niyamagraha, doing something without knowing what we are doing it for. So it is very important to keep the goal in a mind and never forget about it. And that should be done deliberately. Of course, the process will lead us to attain the goal because that's how it's designed. But if we don't put deliberate effort, then that also won't happen, because our free will is a factor which makes to choose what we want to do. Like we take the sandwich, which is actually our I and mine, our ahankar. The sandwich is our I and mine. And that always is there. Only Mayavadis will think that at one point I and mine disappear. But I and mine always is there. So the sandwich has two portions. And also there are two portions of existence. Like we just said, reality and falseness. There's something that exists and something that doesn't exist. So that sandwich also has that something which exists, which is this prema, and something that doesn't exist, which is kama, lust, some love for me, and something that surrounds me, and something that gives me pleasure. So we need to turn around that sandwich. We are in this material world, and a side, which is kama side, that is filled with the sand. So we need to turn it around. That's what is surrender. To turn this watch around and let the sand drop into the side of prema. So that is a gradual process. That the watch, the prema side can be quarter full, half full, or 3/4 full. So the same way, by a practice of Abhideya, we can have gradual switch to lust, from lust to prema. So why we talking to prema? I'm repeating again, because these things need to have a constant repetition, because this is the only reality. Krishna consciousness. But what Krishna consciousness means? We are conscious of something we love. So if Krishna consciousness means love for Krishna. We cannot be conscious of Krishna if we don't love him. We can only be fully conscious of Krishna if we love him. And that's reality. To love Krishna is reality. Because that's the only occupation of living entity, is to love Krishna. The only occupation. Whatever occupations we acquire here, it's not our occupation. This is just guidance of material modes of nature. Some are in goodness, they will do like that. Some are in passion, they will do like that. Somebody is in ignorance, they will do like that. And according to these modes, we concoct dharma. But the only dharma of every living entity is to love Krishna, which means prema. So our dharma is prema. If we don't have prema, we are not performing dharma. So we have to go for it with a great force. Prabhupada talks more. He says, Krishna speaks. Prabhupada says what Krishna speaks. You have got prema. You apply it to me. So it means Krishna says, you have love in your heart. Every living entity has love, even animal. So Krishna says, you apply it to me. Then you will be benefited. Prema is already there. You are simply misusing it. Therefore, you are not happy. This is a process. Prema you have got, but you are misusing it. But if you take Krishna's word that give your prema unto me, manmana bhava mad bhakto madhya jimam namaskuru, this is the beginning of prema. Always think of me. So that's why this sadhana process is also given. If we follow that very strictly from morning to evening and night, then we always think of Krishna. And very quickly, without committing offenses, we can attain the goal very quickly. We just need to intensify our sadhana. And sadhana doesn't just mean a few hours in the morning. Our whole life should be sadhana. Sadhana means practice. So what does practice means? To practice to love Krishna. Because we love somebody, but we have to love Krishna. That is our dharma. Dharma means nature. Dharma means occupation. Dharma can also mean duty. So whichever definition we apply to word dharma, everything for jiva is prema. The duty, the occupation, and the very nature is prema, to love Krishna. So now, in this bewildered state, where jiva doesn't even think he is jiva, he thinks he is his body, so where there is love for Krishna, that's why sadhana. And this sadhana is so many hours has to be there. 24 hours of a day, the 24 hours is sadhana. The service also have to be our sadhana. This chanting is our sadhana, the kirtan is our sadhana. So everything we do, it is sadhana, because that should be our practice to love Krishna. We should not do anything in our life. We should immediately drop anything what doesn't help us to practice to love Krishna. So Prabhupada continues. The Krishna said, the beginning of prema is always think of me. This is the beginning. So we should always think of Krishna. But Prabhupada says, I think of my son, I think of my child, I think of my wife, because there is prema, there is love. So if you think of Krishna, then you will increase your prema for Krishna. This is a process. Prema is not something you have to get from outside. It is already there. Just like a young boy, young girl, as soon as they meet, there is natural attraction. That is already there. It is not that he has brought this attraction from somewhere else, purchased from some shopkeeper. No, it is already there. Simply by combination, it becomes aroused. That's all. Similarly, Krishna prema is there. Nitya Krishna Siddha Prema Sadhya Kabunai. It is not that by artificial means we are getting Krishna prema. It is already there. But just like the attraction for young man and young woman, it comes at a certain stage. Similarly, if you develop the Shravana Kirtana, then that Krishna prema will be aroused automatically. It is already there. So another Prabhupada class, he says, the love we have, this is, as I said, love is the nature of Jiva. Prema is nature of Jiva. But in bewildered state, we distribute to anyone and everyone, up to the dog, but not Krishna. So in this sadhaka stage, which we are all now, this is half-half. Or 3/4, 1/4. Or 1/4, 3/4. Depending on where we are at. But we should never think that we are at nowhere. And we should, because we are in a process, in this Abhideya process, so the goal should be always in the forefront of our minds. So here it is said that authority, by taking shelter of authority, this reality is revealed. So that's why when we hear all our acharyas, they always pray either directly to Guru or directly to some of the intimate associates of the Lord. Because they know Krishna is a person. We all know. So it means he likes something and he may not like something. So to serve Krishna means to give him something he likes and not to give him something he doesn't like. That's what we do in this material world with the other material living entities. But Krishna is also like that. So in a stage when there is no love of God, this type of pleasing Krishna appears as rules and regulations, which we may not like to do or try to avoid or skip. But this is just to train our brain what Krishna likes, what Krishna doesn't like. And really we should aspire to understand what Krishna really, really likes and give him something that he really, really likes. So what we all hear, we have heard all that really, really likes Krishna, Radharani. But they are such a great personalities. How we can approach them? Just like that. Even if you want to go to dentist, we cannot just go and sit in a chair, I have come. We have to call, make an appointment. Sometimes even we don't get to talk directly to the dentist himself. We need to talk to assistant or secretary. Then she makes appointment. And after 1 week, we may get appointment. So even for no ordinary dentist, for ordinary bodily needs, we need to wait. We cannot just directly approach. What to speak of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and His Supreme Consort. We cannot just approach like that. So that is another reason why we need Guru. It's not just that he will give us reality, he gives us the truth, we will know the truth, we will know the reality, and we are okay. There is pariprashnena sevaya. We also serve. So then that truth is revealed and the goal is achieved. That's why Narottam Das Thakur prays to Rupa Manjari. He says, Sei vrata, sei japa, sei vrata, sei tapa, sei mora mantra japa. So everything, all my austerities, all my vows, my japa, my chanting is all just to attain the lotus feet of Rupa Manjari, who is assistant of Radha and Krishna. So he is not praying directly to attain Radha and Krishna. So that's why Acharyas has given us these prayers. Every morning we sing how I wish to become a transcendental girl and assist the assistance of Radha and Krishna. So our mind should be fixed on that. Then we will very quickly attain. Like, for example, same dentist, we'll go back to dentist. So now the secretary has put our appointment for after 1 week. But what if the pain is very severe? We cannot tolerate. We will try to explain that, secretary, please, could you make some space for me a little earlier? I have very acute pain. I really need, very much I need to see the dentist. Then if we can convince the secretary, okay, she will put our name sooner, tomorrow or immediately. So the same way, if we can convince with our greed how much we want to serve the lotus feet of Radha and Krishna, if we can convince their messengers, their associates and their servants, then very quickly they can give us a shortcut way. And this shortcut way is being given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu with Harinam Sankirtan. And it is such a shortcut that even those who don't care and don't want or have no interest, they are caught in the net of that Sankirtan, which is bestower of Krishna Prema. They are caught on a hook and pulled, even if it seems like by force. So this is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Generally we say Jiva has free will. If she wants, she will go. Doesn't want, doesn't go. But Mahaprabhu doesn't care you want or you don't want, because you are foolish. You have to come and come. That's what is Mahaprabhu. And then whoever the holy name enters the ear, and through that ear, then the person is finished. The material life is finished. Sooner or later, this person knows it or doesn't know. The material life is finished. And then the gradual process starts. I want to read. Then we can see how is described, how it is gradual process. It is said that some persons think we can try to identify, is it us? He said, okay, I will do my material duties nicely, and meanwhile I will also be a Vaishnava. Someone may think like this. So it is described that it is a very little faith. The person who thinks like this, I will remain in this material world doing things, and also I will be a Vaishnava. Very little faith. Very fragile this person's faith is. So then, by association of devotees, it can increase. And then it's said that spiritual conception becomes a little more condensed. That is from association of devotees. Then after some time, when already person starts performing devotional service, then this I and mine, this ahankar, is still more and more engaged in spiritual activity, but the material aspect is still full until the stage of nishta, where spiritual realization becomes more pervasive in one's life. But still, the material conception is there, full. Then slowly person attains some taste, ruchi, hearing, chanting, constantly want to do, constantly. But even at that stage, when a person wants to constantly engage in such activities of direct bhakti, still the material conception is there. Only at the stage of a shakti, which means the person has a personal attraction to Krishna himself, not just activities of devotional service, but to Krishna himself, then the spiritual realization takes over. And then this I and mine, then ahankar, is going towards the spiritual realization. And material concept is diminishing little, more and more. So then, on a stage of bhava, the spiritual realization is very strong. The spiritual realization of I and mine is absolute. So we can see, when the person thinks, I will be in this material world and also I will perform devotional service, it means that this I and realization of I and mine is really based on this body and the surroundings of this body. But that's nowhere near our goal. So we have to start somewhere. Of course, no need to feel discouraged, but the need to understand the position. And we may also think, I am not so much attached actually to my body, I'm just performing my things, but I am not so attached to body. But then we need to see, one tooth falls out here. What do we do? And we quickly run to repair. But what did Prabhupada do when his tooth fell out? He spit and continued his class. So he wasn't caring. And we can say, yes, but for preaching, I need to look good, and I have to have my teeth right and my hair right, and I have to wear all the nice things. But Prabhupada is Maha-preacher. And when his tooth fell, he spit. Even all the preaching we do, actually it's doing Prabhupada. So this is not that we need to, for preaching, we need to invest so much endeavor and money and effort to fix something for preaching. Really, the preaching will be powerful when our realization of I and mine is spiritualized. Then the preaching will be powerful. Then the person will be captured by that inner shininess of the person, by inner force of the person who is preaching. They will not take so much attention how the person's hair are and how the person's clothes are, what house he lives in. They won't care so much because they will be captured. They will be captivated by the force of that message, what comes out of the person's mouth. When the person will chant the kirtan, everyone will be just so attracted because of the fullness of heart of that soul, of that person who is preaching. So that's why we are preaching movement. We are preachers. And this reality, which we are reading in this purport, we have to distribute also. But to distribute reality, we also have to have at least a little glimpse of reality. So that's why we have to become full, inside full of Krishna consciousness in order to please Srila Prabhupada and preach. We can say, we're giving mangoes, and I don't have any mangoes, but I know that man has mangoes, so you can go to that man and take the mangoes. Then I will ask, but why are you not going and taking any mangoes yourself? So I may have some doubt, are you really telling me truth? But if I am coming with full hands of mangoes and I say, go there, that man is giving mangoes, then the person will go. So the same with Srila Prabhupada's message. If we are not full of that message, if we are not ever increasingly, day by day, Krishna conscious, and we try to preach, what will be the effect? Even though we preach Srila Prabhupada's message, nothing else, nothing from us. But if we are ourselves fully absorbed, we are fully soaked in that Prabhupada's message, then whoever we will meet, it will just reflect on them. They will take it and they will accept it. So this talking about Krishna Prema is not just syllables or combination of words. We need to understand that this actually is completely opposite side of this material life, which we've been experiencing lifetime after lifetime. Like we spoke about sandwich, it is completely another side. So this body is a focus of a materialistic person, or even for a neophyte in Krishna consciousness, the body is a center, and whatever emanates from this body, the relatives or someone who pleases this body, the friends or surroundings, it is very dear. But in Goloka Vrindavan, none of these things are there. We cannot take any of this there. Not even this body. We are not serving Krishna with this flesh and bones. Here we can only make a good bargain, good use of this bad bargain. But actually we need to understand that this body which we have now is nothing but obstacle in real service for Krishna. So our goal should be very quickly serve Krishna in a way he actually likes. And we need to understand that it means that none of this we like here in this material world, we should be attached. It should be cut. Why Bhagavad-Gita goes on and Krishna asks Arjuna to kill all who you love, just kill. It's not because he is Kshatriya Dharma and he has to perform Varnashrama. No, Krishna says it to Arjuna. Arjuna didn't want, he didn't care about this duty anymore. But Krishna says, I want you to do it. And then Arjuna agreed. Okay, Krishna, you want, I will do. So Arjuna could do. Kunti Maharani was also praying, please, I want to be fully detached from all these things, whatever is in this material world. It's not just that he was just fed up and frustrated in her family life. No. Look at Kunti's family. So glorious. But she understood this reality. I need to be with Krishna. My family is there. Of course, Kunti and all her family are eternal associates of the Lord. But for us, really we need to understand, if I am not this body, and this body is not reality, I have my spiritual body, and that is reality, means my family and my friends are there where I am in my spiritual body. So this should be our meditation at every step, day by day. So we should be ready for that, if we are not yet. All of us, everybody. So we have a few more minutes. I want to read, actually, how acharyas describe the person who has attained this glorious state of love of God. And we should see how we should be ready for that which may seem actually scary. But this fear is illusion. And we read here, doesn't exist. So let's read. It is said, for a person who has attained pure love of God, pure love for Krishna, Krishna Prem, it said, friends, love of God, but still in this world. So for such person, it said, friends seem to be like a dry, overgrown wells. Household appears to be like a thorn-filled forest. Food seems totally distasteful. Praise from other devotees seems like a snake bites. Daily duties seem to be as painful as death. All the limbs of the body seem like an unmanageable burden. Consolation of comrades appears like a poison. Though he remains constantly awake, wakefulness is like a sea of repentance. And if he does fall asleep, it seems like a mortal anguish. This body seems like to be like a chastisement for the Lord, and his breathing in and out is as fruitless as sowing roasted grains. What more can be said? What were always his favorite things are abandoned now as great calamities. So that is person who has attained perfection. So these feelings are goal of our Krishna consciousness movement. This is what Srila Prabhupada has come to give to us. But from others' description, the prema means it is being able to please Krishna. Is there anyone who would like to please Krishna? Everyone wants to please Krishna. That's why we have to attain prema bhakti. Hare Krishna. Anyone has any corrections or comments? Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Hare Krishna Prabhu. Yes.
So we should understand that we are the soul and what we want to do for the soul. Just for any picture we say, I am this, I am giving a class, I am doing this, I am doing this. So we don't want to recognize the body, we want to recognize the soul. But as long as we are in this material world, so we have to cooperate with the body, the soul has to cooperate with the body. If soul says only I am the soul and nothing in body, I don't care about body and this one, then how the soul will get with the food? What is the soul food that we are chanting? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. This chanting we are doing with our body. The prasada we are taking to our body. That's why the soul is getting some benefits. Otherwise, only I will say I am the soul and I don't care for the body, and tomorrow my body is not in a proper condition to attend a program or something. Then how is that I consider that I am only the soul and not the body? Can you explain something?
Yeah. The real identity is I am not this body, but now I have it. Like I am not this sari, but I have to wash it to perform the Lord's service. If I want to perform the service for the Lord, I have to be in clean state. So I need to clean. But why am I doing it? It is for the Lord. So that's why we know that we have now somehow or other, by misuse of our free will, we got this body. Everyone who has these bodies, monkey, dog, bird, human, they have misused the will. So by some fortune, we have taken birth in this human body. So we can realize that this is not who we are. So realizing that we are not this body, we are the soul. What is soul? It's not just some term. It is servant of Krishna eternally. So now soul is entrapped in this prison house. We are in a prison house. And this is a proof. This body is a proof. It's our uniform. So we serve Krishna anyway. The soul's activity is to serve Krishna. So now we are in this uniform of a prisoner. So we still serve Krishna. And that's why it's given Navavida Bhakti, starting from Shravanam to Atma Nivedanam. So we engage in all these activities with the body, with the senses. So it is Mayavadi conception that we should completely neglect this body and not to have to do anything with it. Nothing to do with this material world, nothing to do with this body. No. In Srimad Bhagavatam, in a purport, it's explained in first canto that this whole material world is a paraphernalia to serve Krishna. So this body is 5 elements, and this kartals is also 5 elements. But we can play nice kirtan with these kartals and with this body. So whatever material elements we have, the Krishna's bowl which we feed is also 5 elements of material world. Everything in this material world is 5 elements. So we engage these 5 elements for service of Krishna. Why? Because it belongs to Krishna. We don't engage for satisfaction of this body. Because why did we get this uniform of prisoner? Because we wanted to be enjoyers. And lifetime after lifetime, we used the resources of this material world as a paraphernalia to satisfy our senses. So that's why we are criminals. But now we have got sense. And we know we want to serve Krishna. But in this condition, I am not having my spiritual body, so I am serving with this material body. We serve Krishna in any circumstances. In this material body also. That is the main purpose.
One more point you were speaking about the stages. When the stages are there, just like a very small girl, she's having different stages. She's having playful stage and I have played. As she grown up, then she found husband, and as she grown up, children, and this. When the stages are different, so the stages are also connected with the body. And the body, when it comes in context with the devotee, then he understands that what is my position, what I have to do, how I have to chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. So this body comes in context with the devotee. Then only he comes and he get purification of his soul. Because otherwise, when I was in materials, I never think that I am the soul. I was always thinking I am the body. And whatever activities we are doing according to our bodies. Now also I am doing same things. What I was doing material, but I am doing the same situation, but just as opposite. Before I was eating just like I eating, but now I eat prasada. Before I am doing some job there, here also I am doing some service for Krishna. So same things are there, but the change is that because we have come in contact with the devotees, that's why our attitude and the stages are changed. So to change the stages, so we have to associate with devotees, and when we associate with devotees, then we come to know what is our goal of the life. And we understand that the goal of life is to surrender to Krishna, as we were speaking about 1866, Sarva Dharma Pratitaya. So like this, we have to surrender to Krishna. And when we surrender to Krishna, and then 24 hours, Manmana Bhav Mukta, we are thinking about Him. And that stage is totally different. And mostly the people, when you ask someone, I am still young, this is not my stage, when I old, come to become old age, that is my stage to serve. And when that stage never comes and they are in the material world, they cannot come in that stage to serve Lord. And once when we have the contact with devotees, then only we can come to know, when we get the realization, our intelligence are changed, our mind is completely changed, and we go to serve Krishna in a manner that we have come staying in the ashram for getting the association, attending the programs. And those things, if we get the real realization, then that stage we understand we are in perfect stage. But I am in ashram, but I am doing so many other different things. I am doing my seva also, but I am doing still different things. I am not properly following the instruction what Prabhupada has given, that you have to attend morning programs, Bhagavatam, then evening Bhagavad-Gita, this one. So some of them I follow, some of them do not follow religiously. So that means I have not a proper association. If I have a proper association, then I will completely follow and the Guru, what Prabhupada has given instruction, I will follow his instruction. Otherwise, I will do religiously what I am doing in material world and also saying of this.
Yeah, so we have to follow the spiritual guidance from devotees and have association. That was exactly what was written in this purport. But the main thing we need to see is that we have to increase our desire to serve Krishna, increase our desire for Krishna. Like today in that calendar there is a quote, the living in Vrindavan means to be mad after Krishna. That's what means to live in Vrindavan. You may attain Mangalarti for hundreds of years, but if you are not mad for Krishna, means it was fruitless. And you may do this or you may do that. Somebody was telling me that what pleases Prabhupada the most. There was discussion in Prabhupada, this present here in his Leela, on this earth. Some devotees raised the question, what pleases Prabhupada the most? And someone said, oh, we have to open farms because this is self-sustenance and we don't depend on all the outside things. Someone says Gurukula because the children are our future. Someone says Hare Rama Eva Kevalam. Someone says distribute books. If you want to please me, really then distribute books. So many answers everybody gave. So they went to Prabhupada and asked, what pleases you the most? He said, for me, the most pleasure gives if you are Krishna conscious. So there also everyone can go and read in this up calendar. Today is written, to live in Vrindavan means to be mad after Krishna. So we can see how mad we are after Krishna. We like to be good citizen, we like to be good housewife, we like to be best brahmachari in ashram, we like to be very good temple president, but this is not the goal. The goal is to be mad after Krishna. There are many means to attain it, but we should not be satisfied by something in between that, because that can bewilder us, drift us away. So whatever we do, we just need to see how mad I am for Krishna. Look how mad were our acharyas. Raghunath Das Goswami had constantly wet eyes. Why? Did he have some irritation? Was his health not good? Yes, maybe his health was not good because he was only eating once in 2 days, 1 leaf cup of buttermilk. But who cares? Because his eyes were full of tears because he was mad for Krishna. And Lord Chaitanya said, what did he say? I have no love for Krishna at all because I still care to maintain this fly-like existence, because I still live. So this should be our madness. So we should calculate that. We don't need to tell it to anybody. You don't need to reply to me or to you or to somebody. We should see it for ourselves. And one personality who is very senior person and very dear to my heart, he said, you can measure your progress in Krishna consciousness by seeing how wet is your pillow, by crying for Krishna. So we should do that. Hare Krishna.